So I guess you've obviously had an absurd amount of experience in the media buying world. I'm super curious to know, what are you working on right now?
So a lot of what I'm personally working on right now is I'm building something called Disruptor School, which is basically like the Code Academy of digital marketing. And I'm just trying to make this available for everybody. And the point of that is, when I started, literally, I couldn't ask anybody for help because nobody had any idea what they're supposed to do. I remember going to my boss in 2013, 14, and I didn't know how to do my job because there was an ask, right? They sold something and nobody in the room knew what it was. And I went to my boss and said, hey, how do I do this? She pulled out her headphone, told me to check my job description, put her headphone back in, and went back to writing emails. And so a lot of what I'm working on right now is just providing people the opportunity to never have to face that. And for what it's worth, I think the easiest path to financial independence right now, if you got it, anybody worth their salt in Facebook ads can make a six-figure income working part-time. So like, I'm really trying to democratize access to that, as well as CMOs, and make the marketing side work for people. And with that, like, I've got my hands in TikTok ads. I got my hands in YouTube ads. I've been running, display media and programmatic and email for many, many, many years on top of the Facebook stuff. And so I'm always trying to figure out what is the easiest way of solving the most important problem, and then figuring out how to scale that, and then tackling the next thing. And so that's a lot of what I'm working on right now, is trying to teach people how to make Facebook stupid easy, and then figuring out where the next low-hanging fruit, so that realistically, I'm managing $20,000, $30,000 a day for one of my stores, and it takes me 2-3 hours a week. How do I make that happen for 3 other platforms? That's the puzzle I'm trying to solve, and how I'm trying to give back in the space. Because the honest truth is, I feel like 70-80% of people that buy ads were overworked, underpaid, and poorly trained by somebody else that didn't quite know what they were doing. And there's a great opportunity to change that. And I'll gladly be that person, because I can teach and I can talk ad nauseum. So I might as well use those superpowers with my experience to try to help people out.
Very cool. Makes a ton of sense. So this Code Academy for digital marketing and Facebook ads, all that stuff, is that an existing product? Is that something that you're still building? Like, what stage is that in? First question.
Yes.
Let's start with that.
So it's ultimately called Disruptor School. I got the LLC and the website. Right now, the MVP of that product is called the Facebook Ads MBA program. It's a 12-week immersive thing. Just like Code Academy, you go in, you come out, you can get an $80,000, $100,000 a year gig. You go through Facebook Ads MBA program, you're going to be better than 85-90% of anybody on the face of the planet running Facebook ads, and you're going to be effectively capable of being like a fractional CMO. So that's the MVP. I'm currently working with some people to add TikTok, and by the end of the summer, I'll be hopefully starting the flow to add YouTube. So ultimately, it'll be one place where you can learn all these complementary skills, and you can limp in with whatever one you want, but ultimately the curriculum is universally applicable. So, just like learning Python or Ruby or C++ or HTML, once you get the idea, learning, how to do it in another way isn't that difficult. It's like every language that's Latin-based is more or less the same. Once you figure it out, you can do all of the Romance languages. Now, I'm terrible at it, but I think that that's a fact.
Makes a ton of sense. And something else you said is, one of your stores is, you're spending whatever amount, and you only have to log into the ads manager like a few hours a week. So you're also running stores, I'm assuming, and can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So I don't teach anything that I don't do. I'm currently partner in a CBD business. I'm partner in a clothing business. And I also have students and clients from around the world, like 6 continents, nobody in Antarctica yet, but fingers crossed one of these days.
Soon.
So those businesses, trying to solve those problems on a regular basis, plus being exposed to everybody else, really, really helps me make things work. And I can put my money where my mouth is, because like, I'm promoting myself, I'm promoting these businesses. And I'm, currently in development of a business. We did 7 million our first year. We're probably going to do over 12 to 20 in the second year. And our goal is a 9-figure exit in the next 70, in the next 30 months, starting from scratch. And I'm doing a brand launch in the next week. So trying to figure out all these things. One, I worked for way less than I was worth for a lot of other people. So one of it's investing in myself. And two is also I'm continuing to sharpen that sword so that when people come to me to ask for help, I can talk to them about my personal experience in the space built off of my decades long of doing the work. And I think that ultimately, if I'm not doing the work and I don't have that experience, it's disingenuous for me to tell anybody they should listen to what I have to say about the work.
Especially in a space that changes every day.
Yeah, especially. And also especially in a space where a lot of the most popular thought leaders are basically people championing the work of their team. They have no idea what they're doing. I can't tell you how many people I know that are teaching or sharing what wins for them, but they're 3 steps removed from any of the actual execution. I always tell people, like, I have an iPhone. If I break this, do you think Tim Cook gives a damn about me or know how to fix it? The answer is probably no. So why would I trust somebody whose job it is every day to manage teams and to grow their business on what somebody 4 steps down the ladder does on a daily basis? I'd rather be the 4 steps down the ladder guy than the person running the ship when it comes to giving other people advice. And sadly, I think that creates also this giant echo chamber of some agency shares what's working for them. And what's working for them is what one of their kids is trying out on some client's account based on what that person saw on the internet. And what they saw on the internet was somebody else championing a win that they tried because some other ad agency shared what was winning for them. And so we have this like vicious cycle of everybody chasing their tail every few months. And we see the same shit come around and around and around. And my position is, if you have to solve the same problem every 6 to 8 weeks, it means you never actually solve the problem to begin with. And a lot of these people are still having the same conversation around bidding models or audiences or creative types. And honestly, I haven't had that conversation realistically for myself in 40 years because we already know the answer to that problem. So yeah, like I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense.